What up, guys? As promised, we are ready back live for game number 2 between TSM and Gamehoppers. If anything is to go by from that first game, Pulse, this could be over quite quick. So I'm hoping for Gamehoppers that they've really sorted their composition out. They're going to provide some more of a retaliation and retort back onto those TSM ganks and team fights, but only time's going to tell that. We do have a completely fresh new lineup here from Gamehoppers. I don't think none of these players, none of these characters were involved in the last game from their perspective, so something entirely fresh. Your mic? Oh, no, you're here, okay.
The client's just doing something weird. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Alright.
Are you in the game?
Yeah, it was just doing something very janky. Alright, yeah, I'm back. DLHF coming from Malphite, and I see what you did there coming from RE. Oh, you're making me think about it now.
Good luck, have fun.
Yeah, but there's something about it there, apparently.
I don't have the brain capacity right now to work that one out.
Me neither.
So I'm just going to assume it's something really witty and funny coming from the players.
Yeah.
But yeah, TSM just we're going to start to look around the mid area, similar to first game. Doesn't look like we're going to have any massive invades or anything too out of the ordinary from either team. But we said this before. We said this earlier. Actually, we saw Maokai and Dedry on 2 games running. And it really is just a gank fest with him. He really does power heavily in those first few levels from his Twisted Advance and Arcane Smash combination. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can actually pop off those ganks and make them successful for his team. Because if he does, his team are going to be able to push forward very, very aggressively and snowball out of control quickly as well.
That being said, Broto's on Lee Sin, hyper high mobility. Once again, we see it on the opposite team this time. So we could see some good counter ganking, and that's really what they need, because once again, TSM are going to be ganking all over the place. They have one on Maokai, he's in his prime, he's on his support jungler, which is exactly what he wants. So on the enemy team, they just really, Gamehoppers just need to react to those ganks well. And because they have Ahri this time, more of a roaming mid player, then that'll be great for them, because as soon as she hits 6, she can pretty much follow TF. It's not too bad. He teleports down, that's an extra 5 seconds, but then they've got 5 seconds to do something before Ahri just arrives and murders them all with Spirit Rush. So yeah, I'm actually seeing it this time. They have a better chance, definitely just from picks alone.
Alrighty, seeing some pings going down. Broto will be taking red. Maokai onto blue, already has his red. Does he still have his smite up? Yes, he does. So blue will be going down. Odd1 already level 3, and you can see his thought process. He is going to be going towards top, and he is going to try and pick up this first blood with Olaf. He has double buff. He is very scary this early on in the game. And Lee Sin is still on his golems. Will he be moving towards top afterwards? We're only going to have to see in the next few seconds. The answer appears to be a no. So Malphite, in the meantime, is playing safe, not going past the halfway point. And in turn, the creep wave is actually pushing the lane for TSM. So I can't see Odd1 being involved in a gank anytime soon unless Malphite pushes out really aggressively, or unless he plays patient, which we saw earlier with Diamond Prox, who literally sat in the bush for 45 or so seconds and actually picked up the kill. In the meantime, Broto is lurking in the mid bush on to Reggie. We are going to have a dive. Oh, the charm just missing from Ahri. Had that landed, probably would have been first blood, but Reggie did burn his flash, so it was successful in that sense. And in the meantime, it looks like Maokai, Odd1, has decided to push into the opposite jungle and potentially gank Lee Sin on Wraiths.
That being said, well, he's actually going in with Olaf as well, going to stop that from happening, but 3-man invade, right, well, 2-man invades very early on to the game. They're playing really aggressively, and I think they're just trying to instill fear in them at the moment. It's like, we beat you pretty comfortably last game, so now we're just going to be hyper-aggressive all over the place and try and demoralize you and just force you into a corner. So it's kind of like boxing in that respect. Gamehoppers just need to get out of the corner. Watch boxing. I don't even know why I made that analogy.
I was like, you don't strike me as the boxing fan type, to be honest. So, I was surprised when you made that analogy as well, but it does still have merit, so regardless. I think a heal just was popped off from next special. Of course, Alistair can pop them all day long. The Triumphant Roar Kirks is taking a lot of damage from Graves in the process. How's the early creep farm looking? Graves 29 and Corky on 29, so as close as it could be. Lee Sin making his way towards top. Unbeknownst to him, though, Dyrus is recalling. He's having to cancel this one, realizing he's out of position. Is going to pop the ghost, come back once again with the undertow and also the reckless swing. And doing enough to keep himself alive. And I said this before, Ghost plus Ragnarok and Olaf is a very scary Viking indeed, especially for AD carries, because he will just mow through you.
Yeah, it's all about trying to kite him down, and it's very difficult to kite when, meanwhile, bottom.
Yeah, Alistair alongside Renegade is going to try and take down this kill. Chaos. Oh my god, that was so close between the two AD carries. Chaos just managing to survive by the skin of his teeth. About 35 HP remaining. So Odd One did come down. I got a bit tongue-tied there, trying to say Renegade and Reginald all in one. But it is Odd One, if you weren't aware. But they got the first blood, and it's on the AD carry. So TSM starting off in the same kind of form as last game, which is only going to be a detriment for Gamehoppers. In the meantime, at top lane, Olaf has gone down from Malphite. Very close as well. So 1-1.
Of course, Olaf works really well against Malphite as well, because it cuts through all the armor, because usually Malphite is that anti-AD champion, but he has his Reckless Swing, which goes straight through it, so actually TF teleporting top will be going out for that, looking for the tower dive, gets the Ignite down as well.
Oh, it's going to be close. I think he's dead. Yeah, Kikis is dead. Ignite did manage to work a charm, and Twisted Fate manages to survive with about 80 HP as well. So, beautiful play from Reginald. Once again, having that global presence that we all know and love about Twisted Fate. So, Malphite did get the upper hand. Kikis was looking good, but then Twisted Fate came and brought it back all to even once again. Olaf goes back to spawn, picks up the Ionian Boot of Lucidity. So it appears he really wants to get that Reckless Swing off cooldown as often as possible. Right now, it has a 5.76 cooldown. So he's just going to be chomping through Olaf time and time again. He's also trying to max out his Reckless Swing. 3 points in it thus far.
Yeah, and that's basically Olaf's main strength in lane, the fact he can just chunk off his opponent, and his harass is insane as well. If you can't respond with harass from Olaf hitting you with Reckless Swing, then you've lost the lane, basically. And all Malphite really has is the cheese wheel. Basically, Darius's mistake right there was going out for an all-out trade, which basically bit him in the arse because he tower dive and he thought he could do more damage than he could do, basically, and that's what it came down to. Oh, Odd One, right in the jungle.
Odd One getting caught out there. He's going to have to flash through, but Ari with the Spirit Rush is going to chase right after him alongside Lee Sin. It's not two characters it can really escape from, as Odd One just found out. So 4 players bot lane. Are they going to try the tower dive on towards Chaos? He does have some help here with Alistair. Alistair pulverizing, lots of damage onto Broto. He's going to get charmed though. Are they going to pick up the kill regardless? On towards Graves. It's going to be a kill. Beautiful play from X Special on Alistair alongside Chaos, baiting around, juking around like bosses. And they actually get a kill in a 2v4 situation. And very nearly picked up the kill on Broto as well.
That was ridiculous, and honestly, the reason why that happened is because they had the CC from Alistair, they played it really well, they were just moving around that turret, stopping them from actually doing any damage, and it really sucked because Ari had pretty much no mana, so he had enough for like 1 spell, so she'd get that charm off, and that's literally it. So it was pretty much a 3 versus 4 anyway, except maybe Ari could soak up some damage, but it was odd for them to dive that, considering Ari had no mana, and that's a very difficult lane to gank anyway because it's got so much CC, so much displacement that can just keep them pinned down.
Oh my. Dyrus is taking so much damage. I have no doubt that if Kikis had more mana, Dyrus would have gone down. Actually popped Ghost just to make sure. And this is the downside of building into Reckless Swing in the 4th level, is you do 112 damage to yourself. And up until the point that Olaf went back to spawn, he had no health, he had nothing to really negate that damage. So he was really injuring himself while injuring Malphite as well. Malphite's very, very tanky, and has a Philostone on top of a Ruby Crystal. So in some instances, Olaf may have been coming out second best in those exchanges off his own spells.
I get the feeling that Olaf was hitting him when Malphite had his passive up, which is Granite Shield, which basically gives him another 10% of his health. So maybe he's just chunking through that, and that's 142. It absorbs 142 damage, regardless if it's true damage or not. So, meanwhile, bottom, They're just gonna back off. Alright, that's fine.
But,
So,
yeah.
okay, so Reckless Swing does 280, so that's pretty much all of it. That's like only 102 damage that's actually getting through. And that's actually more damage onto Olaf. That's a very even trade.
Yeah.
So that's not even helping him out at all. So he needs to constantly have the pressure on a Malphite, otherwise it's just completely going to be alleviated, and it's actually going to hurt Olaf.
And take into account that Malphite currently has 1,418 health, and Olaf has 1,300. So these exchanges really aren't working. Now that Malphite's just dinged up, he's got 1,500 health now. So it may actually be hurting Olaf slightly more. However, at bot lane, thought for a couple milliseconds that Broto was going to go in. There is a ward down there though, so pretty sure that TSM were going to comfortably just move their way back. But it's an interesting one at top lane. It really is. Now Olaf's going to go back. What's he going to be building up? Maybe a Hex Drinker, I should say. Yes, he's gone for the Hex Drinker.
Okay. So that will basically stop the burst from Malphite cutting straight through him, which makes sense because in that last situation he was on very low health. If he had 100 mana, then Malphite would have used his ultimate and picked up the kill pretty handily. So yeah, it makes sense to get a Hex Drink, especially against this team as well. You have two pretty much AP dealing champions, and it looks like Broto looking for a gank on bottom lane. That happened. I mean, arched up to a tower, they're waiting for Chaos basically to push up to that tower so he can go in for that lane gank.
Yeah, one of the good things about Lee Sin is he can close the gap very quickly with his safeguard, but doesn't seem he's too interested in making that a reality in this case. He is instead going to be pushing towards mid lane. But again, nothing's really happening for him, so... Oh, he safeguarded through the wall. This is a beautiful play. We're going to have a Spirit Rush coming in. Nice stun card, though, from Reginald. If that charm lands, he's surely going to die. There you go. Down goes Reggie. And it was really nice play from Broto to go through the wall onto his ward, come around the back of Reggie. Reggie was forced to gold card Ari, and by that time he was already dead. He just didn't know it yet. Charm landed, and goodbye. At top lane, Dyrus did just get dove off Kikis, but Kikis has run out of mana, and he's in a really tough situation right now. Fortunately for him, Broto's reacted very quickly. Here comes Dyrus from the backside. This could turn sour for Dyrus. Here comes Lee Sin. Oh, and it's going to be a kill. He chased that one a tiny bit too eagerly, and Lee Sin was there to make him basically a free kill for himself. So Gamehoppers now take the advantage, but they're still behind on gold by about 1.1k.
Yeah, they're losing on farm right now, and we've got double gold per 5 on both Maokai and Twistate and Alistair, in fact, so double gold per 5 on 3 characters right now. Meanwhile, mid.
Yeah, Twist of Fates came down with a Destiny. This should be a dead Ari, actually, and indeed it will be. Maokai finishes it off, takes a lot of damage from the tower, but not enough to pick him up from Ari. And there we go again. Destiny coming good for TSM. Corki 2-0-0. And you can have 1-1-1 for both Twisted Fate and Maokai, respectively. You are going to have Ruby Crystal and also a Longsword on Corki, maybe building towards that Phage, I'd expect, and he has 1,250 gold at his disposal. On the other side, Graze has 1,630 health? Gold even, and he has Berserker's Greaves and 2 Doran's Blades, so he could go back and pick up a BF Sword relatively soon. Mid tower has gone down. In amongst all that, TSM are now going to be pushing on towards Dragon, and with Ari back towards spawn, Lee Sin more occupied on Wolves, and Malphite at top, that's going to be an extremely comfortable Drake for TSM. They move ahead by 3.3k gold.
It's 4-4 right now, but that's 3k ahead on TSM because they've got the global objectives, they've got mid, they have Drake, and they're slightly ahead on farm as well. So even though it looks even, it's not looking good for Gamehoppers once again. However, they have the stronger team fight still. So if they just try and force a fight, then it'll be good to go. However, TSM have just kind of removed that team fight opportunity from them because they just took Drake, which is usually that main source of the early team fight. So they just need to be forcing it, need to be roaming more, and Ari can be reacting to the TF ganks, and TF kind of realizes this, so he's actually going to go ahead and go top and just walk it, but there is already a ward there. That's an interesting place to ward actually, and actually paid off.
They're going to be chasing onto Kikis in the form of Dyrus. Needs to be careful because here comes Lee Sin from the backside. It's a 2v2 situation now, but Dyrus on such low health. Flash in from Broto trying to finish off this kill. Indeed will be the case, and Broto goes on a killing spree. Having said that, last game he was in the same position. 3-0 on Nocturne. Still lost the game comfortably. So this time around he's going to be looking to pick up the pieces and make amends for that poor Gamehoppers display. in game number 1. Bot lane. Alistair in the tri-bush. Nothing's going to happen. Ari's actually en route, so maybe we are going to see something occur. However, there is a ward down in the bush. So right now TSM know exactly where Ari is. Twisted Fate is going to confirm that. Going to go up towards top lane, trying to pick up the kill into Kikis, but he has not enough mana to finish off this kill just yet. He's trying his best to get close with the gold card. The Seismic Shard doing just enough to steal the movement speed to get him back towards that tower. But I mean, that must have been really frustrating for Reggie. That was just out of range to pick up the kill.
Yeah, he was literally like half a Teemo away. It was extremely close. And bottom lane looking perhaps to do something. They're being really aggressive right now. He's 2 kills, 125 CS to 135, so it's pretty even right now apart from the 2 kills. Actually, they're going for the engage.
Oh, burst damage from Corki is huge, and that's going to be Janna going down. In the meantime, though, we are going to have Lee Sin coming down once again. He has been all over the map in this game. Chaos is going a very low health. Nice flash away from both the Q and the collateral damage from Graves. And Alistair's able to pulverize and headbutt away, but I think he just sacrificed himself inadvertently, or maybe purposely for Corki, because Ari was coming down. I think they knew that was the case. So Alistair saying, get out of here, Chaos, I'll die for you, and allowing his AD carry to keep on going regardless, especially seeing as Corki's on a 3-0 scoreline. You don't want to give away that kill too easily.
Yeah, it's worth it basically for your supports to die for your AD carry, because your AD carry means it can stay in lane and then they can carry on farming. It's just great because you have to protect your AD carry at all costs. It's kind of like actually Broto going straight onto Chaos, and he closes with the Q way too early. I mean, he could have just walked up to him because he was already slowed. He would have been hit with the red buff and then followed up with the Q, which is generally what you do. And
yeah, Twisted Fate's going to go on towards Graves, does land our wild cards and the gold card as well. With the Ignite, that's going to be a dead Graves. And Reggie just seems to always pick the right moments to strike. Even with Malphite, he was so close at top lane to picking up that kill as well. And he's got needlessly large rod, pretty much an identical build to last game. Cage's lucky pick, Heart of Gold, Philosopher's Stone into a needlessly large rod, then a blasting one. Last time around he went into Abaddon's Death Cap and also a Lich Bane. I would be expecting to see the same if this game goes far enough. You have 3 players of TSM pushing into mid, the other 2 are at bot lane. That's going to be Reginald and Special on Alistair.
Actually, Oddman has been caught, I hooked on and been taken out by Kikis. Ultimate goes down as well. Kelk's chasing after, he's actually used his Valkyrie and now Special coming in. And Fists of Fury takes out that RE. And honestly, I think they could have picked up that kill, but, you know, it's more entertaining this way. And Olaf will be going over there, will be closed in by Broto, who's going to follow up in this one. Ragnarok has been popped. And there is the pop from the Hex Drinker. Flume is now trying to save Broto, knocked back by the Monsoon. And closing in would be getting that unstoppable, but immediately shut down by Corki. We'll be taking out that Olaf, however. And if you swap around the first 2 letters, you will actually have Loaf.
I see what you did there. That was very smart.
Yeah. That's terrible.
You can tell that we're really tired, can't you? We're like both delirious almost. But yeah, I mean, really strange kind of play there. First of all, Alistair, it's always quite comical. And Alistair picks up a kill. In fact, hold that thought because Alistair's going to be involved once again. Pulverized headbutt. Here comes Twisted Fate, surprise, with a tower dive onto Gamehoppers. This is going to be a double kill at bot lane. Twisted Fate picks up 1. Corki, the other Corki's on 5-0-2. Kind of reminiscence from last game on Chaos as well. This time, Dyrus isn't having such a good game. I mean, Jax, he was so strong. This time, 0 for 4. Not too great from his high standards, but his team are currently 7k ahead. And if you actually looked at the kills, 10-8, and still a 7k lead to TSM. It just goes to show us that kills really do not matter.
Yeah, it's very odd though, because I swear, like Gamehoppers will have a much stronger team fight, or probably not now, but for the majority of the game they will have done. And I don't know why they weren't forcing them, because it just didn't make sense to me. I mean, they keep getting picked continuously because of that global presence by TF. As soon as that ultimate comes up, I think he's gotten a kill or an assist every time that ultimate comes up. Meanwhile, mid.
Ari's taking a lot of damage, but so is Dyrus actually, to be fair. So Spirit Rush doing enough to allow Ari that great maneuverability that we all know. She was able to dart around the sides of Olaf and force Ragnarok, I believe, to be popped Well, was it popped? Yes, it was. Alongside Ghost as well. So Summoner Spell and the ultimate for Olaf will not be on the battlefield. And he is on less than half HP, so this is going to be quite dangerous for his team. Malphite ultimate comes in, hits absolutely everybody. That was beautiful. They're going to pick up the first kill onto Olaf. Twisted Fate comes back with a kill onto Kikis though. And now it looks like Graves should be falling from Chaos. Indeed he will. So even though Malphite landed a peach of an ultimate, his team got burst down so quickly. Broto tries to get the kill onto X Special, but it gets blocked off from Odd One. And that's going to be a 3-for-1 exchange, I should say. But that Malphite ultimate looks so tasty. And then just from there on, it just went downhill for Gamehoppers.
Yeah, we were just saying that the team fight is better, but I think they've just left it for too long. They've been picked off too many times, they've let those objectives slide, and now they're weaker, and now they don't have the late game scaling that TSM do, and now they're weaker in mid game as well. So, and now TSM is actually going to go into Hawkdon, trying to get this kill off. He's taking the turret, and wow, almost dying himself, looking for the last wild card. Not going to happen. Both players leaving the fray with pretty much the same amount of HP. So that didn't quite pay off that time, but even so, it's just more pressure.
I liked the intent and how ballsy that was, but it very nearly came back to bite him in the backside. Very, very nearly. So risky play, to say the least, from Reginald, but he is on 4-1-4. As I said before, Abaddon's Deathcap, followed by Lichbane was what I was expecting. Abaddon's Deathcap and Sheen have been built up. Let's have a quick look at some of the other items around the battlefield. The Abyssal Scepter on Ari, as you'd expect, pretty much a core item for any Ari player. Looking like Malphite will be finishing off Frozen Heart very, very shortly. Has a Glacial Shroud and 2 Cloth Armors. For Corki, Trinity Force, and also a BF Sword, Aegis of the Legion onto Alistair, and a Frozen Heart has already been finished onto Maokai. So you'd have to give the big advantage to TSM on the items. There's actually quite a long way ahead, to be fair.
Well, not only that, they have so many gold per 5 items, gold per 10 items, that they're just going to snowball even harder. It just... everything leads towards one game, basically. They're just looking for picks right now, and Ari doing a lot of damage to Reginald, but reduces ultimate for pretty much nothing.
Oh my god, so much damage, but you have to say that on the flip side, TSM are also doing a lot. Alistair did manage to pop off. Nice Monsoon used from Janna, but consistently being slowed down from the red buff and Trinity Force of Corki. Can Chaos pick up this kill? Does land a nice shot onto Kikis. Flash and Twisted Advance used from Maokai, and Alistair once again will be there to pick up the kill. And that could be the moment when TSM ended up winning this game. A 1-for-2 exchange. Will they go for Baron? That is the question. With both Malphite and Ari out of contention for the next 10 seconds at least, this could be prime opportunity for TSM to go onto Baron. Also add into equation that Twisted Fate is dead for another 3 seconds, but Destiny is up. So he can quickly get back to Baron if he so needs to. Can Brotok pull off an epic Baron steal? Baron's doing a lot of damage actually. Collateral damage through, could pick up a kill, indeed it will, onto Olaf. From Graves, I was just thinking that myself. Go ahead, son, put the Q and the R in. Lots and lots of damage. Here comes Twisted Fate. As I said before, here comes Broto as well. Can he get off the steal? The answer is a no. And that should be Baron falling to TSM. Indeed it will be. Maokai picks up the kill onto Graves. That really didn't pay off too well. The Gamehoppers lost a 2-for-1 exchange and a Baron on top of it. They're now 11.2k behind with a Baron buff on TSM. And we saw what TSM were able to do last time they had Baron buff pulse. They pushed 3 inhibitors down in as many minutes.
Yeah, and it looks like just a carbon copy of last game. It's not looking good. It was very odd of Mr. Ellis actually just to dash into the Baron pit even after the smites failed. And they weren't really that low health. I mean, Olaf was, but no one really else was in kill range for him. So he just sacrificed himself for a lost cause. Didn't make a lot of sense. So it looks like they are going to go ahead and split push perhaps. What are they trying to do here? They might be recalling. Let's see how much gold they have. They have a significant amount of gold actually. Pretty much everyone over 1k. Apart from Olaf, who's actually just beanbagged to basically died. And Twisted Fate almost got a K as himself. And of course Corki does have 2,000. So yeah, they're going to just back, then push mid, and then just push as hard as they can basically, because they are definitely ahead. It doesn't make very much sense to me why Okay, so Gamehoppers know they need picks, and then for a team fight, because even then, that's going to be an equal fight. 4 versus 5 is going to be equal for them, so they need picks. So right now they're looking for this pick onto Darius, but it's not really going to happen because he's just got mobility. Broto going to be chasing after him by himself, but Darius is actually going to out-trade him, and Broto realizes this. It's like, where are you, Graves? And it's like, oh, I was farming. It's just, yeah, he couldn't follow up on that one. Ari used the ultimate mid, but then got picked off along with Malphite. They realize they need picks, but they're not executing it very well, and it doesn't help that they have great mobility and great just coordination on TSM's part, to the point where they can't do anything because they react too quickly. And Hooked On was simply just picked up. So they need picks, but they need to go about it a different way, and honestly, I think it may be a bit too late for that. And especially when TSM will be so grouped together now, they have Baron buff, they're definitely going to go for this push. So they're just literally, they're going to be as tight as possible, tight into a ball, and they're not going to get those picks. And that's, yeah, a big issue for them right now.
Yep. Completely agree. TSM are just starting to move through the gears now. And you know, one of the things that people would say probably is that, you know, Darius is playing poor, whatever. He really isn't. I mean, I'll have some of those kind of characters that is designed to just chase in with his Ragnarok and his Ghost and do as much damage as he possibly can. Sure, he may not pick up a hatful of kills, but he's allowing a Corki to. Look, Corki's on 9 for 0. They're going to go for a mini engage here. Ari jumps in with a Spirit Rush, comes back out again, but Graves has dropped from Alistar, and now that could be all she wrote, as Ari's going to go down as well. Janna taking a lot of damage, going to be chasing after Malphite, and instead opting to go and take the inhibitor instead, which of course is the correct decision to do, because you want to make sure that those super minions come sooner rather than later. Now we're going to be going on towards the Nexus. Don't feel like there's anything that Gamehoppers can do, and that should be the 2-0 lead for TSM and the win. Malphite comes in around the backside, but he gets exploded in a matter of seconds. Fist of Fate, so much damage. Corki's going to finish it off. An identical score, I think, to the first game that Dyrus got, 10-0-7 from Corki this time around. Going to be picking up some more assists and kills onto Lee Sin. In fact, they're just going to go straight for the finish, and that's going to be GG. Congratulations to TSM, taking out Gamehoppers 2-0, and 2 fairly comfortable victories as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I definitely agree with your point on Olaf. He doesn't need to get those kills. And it's like the game we saw the other day with 760 on Malphite being so far behind. It doesn't matter because he still offers utility. Yes, he's trying to kill those carries because he is basically, essentially a bruiser. But he still brings a lot of utility. And his Ragnarok's always going to be pertinent. So he's going to be able to just rush the AD carry no matter really what happens. Unless he's completely out of it to the point where he's so squishy he just walks at the support and dies. But yeah, he's never really out of it. He's one of those champions which can't entirely be shut down.
He's just there to be a mayhem causer. You want him to just get in there and destroy people, and he may not pick up all the kills, but he's in turn really taking away the focus from the opposition team, and it allows, as I said before, your AP and your AD carries to just run loose and just to let loose and pick up kills all over the place, which you saw there. Corki, Chaos did not die a single time in that game. After 26 minutes, he had 10 kills and 7 assists with 0 deaths. And that's due to the fact that you have a Maokai. I said before we got into the game, the meat shield that he has right now, he's going to be feeling comfortable and cozy because he knew that he had so much support and so much protection that he could just cut loose on the opposite team and be pretty much fine. But that's going to be the conclusion of tonight's coverage, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've been casting a very long time now, so I think we're both going to get to bed quite soon.